The Israel-Palestine conflict explained. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is a complex and ongoing issue that has been at the center of international attention for decades. It is a multifaceted dispute between two groups, the Jewish Israelis and the Palestinian Arabs, over land and sovereignty in the region of Palestine. This conflict has a long and complicated history that dates back to the late 19th century and continues to have a significant impact on the political, economic, and social landscape of the Middle East. In this blog post, we will delve into the root causes, major events, and current status of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict to provide a comprehensive understanding of this ongoing issue. Historical background of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The historical background of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is a crucial element in understanding the complexities and deep-rooted nature of this ongoing dispute. The origins of the conflict can be traced back to the late 19th century, when waves of Jewish immigrants began to arrive in Palestine, then under Ottoman rule. The Zionist movement, which aimed to establish a homeland for Jewish people, gained momentum in the early 20th century. However, this influx of Jewish immigrants sparked tensions with the Arab population, who felt their land and national identity were being threatened. The British Empire took control of Palestine after World War I, under a League of Nations mandate. During this time, clashes between Jewish and Arab communities escalated, fueled by competing claims for the same territory. The British struggled to maintain control and manage the growing hostility. Following the horrors of the Holocaust during World War II, international sympathy and support for a Jewish homeland increased. This led to the United Nations proposing a partition plan in 1947, which aimed to divide Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states. While Jewish leaders accepted the plan, Arab leaders rejected it, as they believed it infringed on their rights and sovereignty. In 1948, the State of Israel was established, and neighboring Arab states immediately launched a military campaign against it. This marked the beginning of the First Arab-Israeli War. The conflict resulted in Israel gaining more land and a significant number of Palestinian Arabs being displaced. Major events and turning points in the conflict. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict has been marked by numerous major events and turning points throughout its history. These events have shaped the dynamics of the conflict, influenced the attitudes of the involved parties, and contributed to the current stalemate. Understanding these significant moments provides insight into the complex nature of the conflict. One of the earliest major events was the Arab-Israeli War of 1948, which followed the establishment of the State of Israel. This war resulted in significant territorial gains for Israel and a large number of Palestinian Arabs being displaced, creating a refugee crisis that persists to this day. Another crucial turning point occurred in 1967 during the Six-Day War. Israel captured the West Bank, including East Jerusalem from Jordan, the Gaza Strip from Egypt, and the Golan Heights from Syria. These territorial acquisitions further complicated the conflict and have been a source of contention ever since. Another major event was the Second Intifada, which began in 2000. This uprising resulted in a significant increase in violence and further strained relations between Israelis and Palestinians. Recent years have seen the continued expansion of Israeli settlements in the West Bank, further complicating the situation. Additionally, the decision by the United States to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital in 2017 caused widespread international outcry and sparked renewed tensions. These major events and turning points have contributed to the current status quo of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Each event has further entrenched the positions of both sides and made finding a resolution more challenging. The core issues: Jerusalem, borders, settlements, and refugees. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is deeply rooted in a number of core issues that have been the cause of ongoing tension and disagreement. These issues include Jerusalem, borders, settlements, and refugees. Each of these factors plays a significant role in shaping the conflict and contributing to the impasse that exists today. Jerusalem, a city considered holy by both Jews and Muslims, is a central point of contention in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Both Israelis and Palestinians claim the city as their capital and view it as an integral part of their identity and heritage. This has led to disputes over control and sovereignty, with each side unwilling to compromise on their claims. Borders are another core issue that has long been a source of dispute between Israelis and Palestinians. The establishment of a border that satisfies both sides has proven to be a significant challenge. Israelis argue for secure borders that ensure their safety and protection, while Palestinians advocate for borders that allow for the creation of a viable and contiguous state. The issue of settlements has also been a major sticking point in the conflict. Finally, the issue of refugees has been a major concern in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The displacement of Palestinians during the 1948 Arab-Israeli War and subsequent conflicts has resulted in a large population of Palestinian refugees, many of whom still live in refugee camps today. Palestinians demand the right of return for these refugees, while Israelis argue that this would threaten the Jewish majority in Israel. These core issues represent deep-seated grievances and aspirations on both sides of the conflict. Finding a resolution that addresses these issues in a fair and equitable manner is essential for achieving lasting peace. However, reaching a consensus on these complex and deeply entrenched issues is no easy task, and will require a great deal of compromise, negotiation, and goodwill from both Israelis and Palestinians. Current political scenario and international stance. The current political scenario of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is complex and deeply entrenched. The conflict has gone through various phases and attempts at resolution, but a lasting peace agreement remains elusive. Both Israelis and Palestinians continue to face numerous challenges and obstacles on their path towards peace. On the Palestinian side, political dynamics are also complicated. The Palestinian Authority, led by President Mahmoud Abbas, has pursued diplomatic efforts to establish an independent Palestinian state. However, divisions within Palestinian politics, including the rivalry between Fatah and Hamas, have hindered progress towards a unified approach to negotiations. The international stance on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is characterized by a variety of positions. The United States has historically played a significant role as a mediator in the conflict, but its stance has shifted over the years. While some administrations have shown support for a two-state solution, others have taken a more pro-Israel approach. Other countries and international bodies, such as the United Nations, the European Union, and Arab states, have expressed concern about the ongoing violence and humanitarian situation and have called for a just and lasting resolution. Impact on civilians and humanitarian concerns. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict has had a devastating impact on civilians and has raised numerous humanitarian concerns. The ongoing violence and hostility have resulted in immense suffering for both Israelis and Palestinians, with innocent civilians bearing the brunt of the conflict. For Palestinians, the consequences have been particularly dire. The displacement and dispossession of Palestinian Arabs during the establishment of Israel in 1948 led to a massive refugee crisis that persists to this day. Palestinian refugees, both those who were displaced in 1948 and their descendants, continue to live in overcrowded and impoverished refugee camps, lacking access to basic necessities and struggling to rebuild their lives. The construction of Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank and East Jerusalem has further exacerbated the humanitarian situation. These settlements are not only illegal under international law, but they also encroach upon Palestinian land, resulting in the demolition of homes and the displacement of Palestinian families. Palestinians living in the vicinity of settlements face constant harassment and violence from Israeli settlers, further deteriorating their quality of life. Israeli civilians have also experienced the devastating consequences of the conflict. The constant threat of rocket attacks from Palestinian militant groups, such as Hamas, has resulted in a deep sense of insecurity and fear. Israeli citizens, especially those living in areas near the Gaza Strip, have to contend with the constant fear of rocket strikes, leading to significant psychological trauma and disruption to their daily lives. Furthermore, the conflict has strained essential infrastructure and services, including healthcare and education, for both Israelis and Palestinians. Hospitals and medical facilities in Gaza and the West Bank are often overwhelmed by the high number of casualties during times of heightened violence. Access to clean water, electricity, and other basic amenities is often compromised due to the destruction of infrastructure and the restrictions imposed by both sides. Educational initiatives aimed at promoting tolerance, understanding, and empathy are also vital in fostering a future generation committed to peace. By teaching the history, narratives, and shared humanity of both Israelis and Palestinians, future generations can be equipped with the tools to overcome the biases and prejudices that perpetuate the conflict. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more amazing videos like this. Thanks for watching.